All right, good evening. We'll call the Brushy Creek Regional Utility Authority Board of Directors meeting for Wednesday, April 7th, 2021 to order. And Monique has done her visual roll call. The only person I'm not seeing is Jason Anderson. So Jason, if you show up, let us know. All right, item 3, citizen communication. Any citizen wanting to speak to the board? I don't have anybody registered at the moment, but in case anybody is on the line and wish to speak to the board, speak now. Anybody? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Item 4, approval of the minutes. Consider approval of the BCRUA meeting minutes for March 24, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Director Shaw, second by Director Duffy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to resolutions. 5A, consider a resolution authorizing the president to execute a 5th amendment to the master contract for the financing, construction, and operation of the Brushy Creek Regional Utility Authority Incorporated Regional Water Treatment and Distribution Project, approving the construction of phase 2 of the BCRUA system. And I think I'm going to turn that over to our attorney, Steve Sheets.
Okay, I'll take care of this. So this is the 5th amendment to the most important contract that the BCRUA has, and that is the master agreement with the 3 cities for the construction of the regional water treatment and distribution project. The original master agreement was entered into by the 4 parties in September of 2008. It's been amended 4 times before this. The last amendment was the 4th amendment, which expanded the definition of the BCRUA project to include a portion of the phase 2 regional system components, which is basically the design and the land acquisition and some other soft costs associated with the phase 2 components. So the purpose of this 5th amendment is to again expand the definition of BCRUA project to include all of phase 2 regional system components as they are described in the original preliminary engineering report. And it's also another thing that's going to amend is to add a new exhibit to the master agreement, which will be Exhibit D1, which sets out the capacity, the allocation of capacity and cost of the phase 2 components. So looking at the actual contract, I don't know if I know you've got it before you, but if you just sort of want to follow along with me, Article 1 of the amendment is to add Exhibit D1, which is what I just talked about. And then Article 2 is to add Exhibit D1 as a list of exhibits. Article 2 is to add it in the body of the contract. Article 3 is to amend the definition of the BCRUA project, and we include an addition of Exhibit D1 in there. And also we say that it includes specifically the phase 2 regional system components. Article 4 amendments are to add the date by which phase 2 components are to be operational, and that is May 1st, 2020. And that date is 2028, May 1st, 2028. And that May 1st, 2028 date is in that paragraph in 2 places. Paragraph 4.02 is also amended to add the date that it will be operational, which is again May 1st, 2028. And then if you want to turn to Exhibit D1. That exhibit is entitled Capacity and Cost Allocation of Phase 2. And it includes the capacity of the 3 cities in all the Phase 2 components. And then it also allocates the cost of the Phase 2 components with all 3 cities. So assuming that this board approves this amendment tonight, then it will be considered by the 3 cities later this month, hopefully in advance of the meeting with the Texas Water Development Board. Karen, do you have the, you know what date that is or what?
May 10th is the deadline.
May 10th, okay. So that takes care of my presentation. Anybody have any questions about the contract or the amendment?
No questions? Entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Director Shaw, second by Director Duffy. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Steve.
Look,
Moving on, Resolution 5B. Consider a resolution authorizing the general manager to complete and submit the final Texas Water Development Board SWIFT loan application for construction of the Phase 1D water treatment plant expansion, the Phase 2 raw water delivery system, and electrical utility improvements, and bid and construction phase services. Ms. Bondi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Staff submitted an abridged SWIFT loan application to the Texas Water Development Board in February for construction of the Phase 2 deep water intake with a peak capacity of 145 million gallons per day. And also the Phase 1D water treatment plant expansion to 42 MGD and electrical improvement for the Phase 2 raw water pump station, and also included in that bid and construction phase services. And these facilities, sizes, and percent ownerships were determined by each city's request for what capacity they wanted to have in the facilities. Well, tomorrow the Texas Water Development Board meets and will invite BCRUA and its member cities to submit a full and formal application for a SWIFT loan in its 2021 cycle, based on that abridged application that we submitted. The Water Development Board has a very quick turnaround time on its process. So staff has been coordinating with the Water Development Board, the 3 member cities, various engineering, financial, and bond council representatives to complete and submit the loan application package before the deadline on May 10th. But your approval is needed to submit that application. So this board resolution before you would authorize the filing of the SWIFT loan application. It sets a not to exceed amount of $194,400,000. Cedar Park is approximately 75 million of that, and Leander is approximately 119 million. And ultimately, there will be 2 separate bond issues for low interest loans. It also would appoint me as authorized representative of BCRUA for the purposes of the application, and further acknowledges the engineer, financial advisors, and bond counsels each city selects to assist in preparation of the application, and authorizes them to communicate with the Water Development Board on behalf of BCRUA or any of the partner cities. This loan application will only involve Cedar Park and Leander. Round Rock intends to use cash and prior bond proceeds to cover its entire cost share. And Cedar Park intends to use cash or prior bond proceeds for its share of the water treatment plant expansion, Phase 1D. And if you refer to your agenda summary sheet for the total amount of funding by funding source for each city. So in order to make the deadlines needed, Leander plans to bring this and the contract amendment to its council on April 15th, and Cedar Park on April 22nd, which is also the day that Round Rock would bring the master contract amendment to its city council. So next steps after the approval, following Cedar Park's and Leander's actions, assuming affirmative votes, staff will incorporate both cities' completed documentation into the final application package and submit it to the Water Development Board before May 10th. And then over the summer, the Water Development Board staff will then evaluate the loan package, clarify any questions or concerns with any of the parties I mentioned, BCRUA, the city staff, or the consultants, and make a final recommendation to the Texas Water Development Board. And we would expect that board decision no later than September. Often it's earlier than that, but they're running a little behind, being overloaded right now. So then the next stage would be the development of 2 bond packages by each city's financial advisor and bond counsel, with assistance by BCRUA and city staff and Aaron Archer from Walker Partners. And that would be followed by formal action by BCRUA's board and each city council. And if everything goes well, we can expect the 2 bond offers to fund by early November this year. And for those of you who were on the board for the 2018 loans, you might recall there are lots of documents to sign that the loan and attorneys will be bringing before you. We don't anticipate any problems with this, and everything looks good to go. And then at that point, when the bonds are funded, we will begin the bidding process later this year for the deep water intake. Staff and the operating committee recommend approval of this resolution. I have Aaron Archer on the video here to help answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Karen or Aaron? Anybody? All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Director Shaw, second by Director Duffy. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank y'all. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Aaron. So we'll move on to item 6, Director closing comments regarding items of community interest. Director Baker.
No comments. Thank you, sir.
Director Shaw.
Yeah, actually tonight I do. So sit back. I won't be long. So I kind of want to speak on the record to the citizens of Leander. So over the past 2 years, I have spent countless hours in meetings, phone calls. I have met with groundwater. I've met with surface water experts. I've met with dam infrastructure, not as in, but as in like the actual physical thing that holds back water, about the history of that and the history of where that's going. I've looked at aquifers and wells and leases and the rising and lowering levels of Lake Travis and how it's getting lower from the top and sediments building up. And over that 2 years, with all that time spent, I believe the actions that we took today are in the best interest of the citizens of Leander. So it's a lot of money for the citizens of Leander, but the way that we have grown and where we're at right now, I honestly feel with all the data that this was the best thing that we could have done. So that's why I supported it. And to my fans out there, I know I've got a couple listeners right now, or at least they're going to look at this. I think you were wrong again. So that's all I got.
Director Duffy.
I can't really follow that, but I appreciate the time that Jason has put in, and just, you know, I had a reporter asking me, trying to get me to get on the record about things, and it's like, look, we are regional partners and we work together, and it's our job to be informed. And I feel like our manager does an excellent job of keeping us informed. Our engineers on the city level, our financial folks on the city level. So I agree wholeheartedly. We're in a really good position to keep things flowing, if you will, for the next duration of this project. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Kirkland.
I'm on. So thank you all for attending tonight. I think this is a big step forward. Thank you to everybody for all the work you do. I know sometimes because it's a government meeting, it seems like things move slow, but I just appreciate everybody's professionalism and they're willing to work on this. And Aaron, thank you so much for what you do. To all the city people, thank you for keeping all these projects moving forward, and looking forward to lots of water for our future area.
Director Anderson.
Yeah, first of all, I want to personally thank Jason Shaw for all he has done to look into what we're doing, look into what the BCRUA was created for, and really vetting everything out. I really appreciate that because I know you put a lot of time in. And as a citizen of Leander, I truly appreciate that. As an engineer, I celebrated 25 years with Carollo Engineers on March 1st, and I've been designing water and wastewater treatment plans for 25 years. And I got to say that I think that what the cities of Leander, Cedar Park, and Round Rock have done with BCRUA is one of the most forward-thinking approaches to addressing future water supply needs that I've seen in my career. So this is a good thing that we're doing here. I fully agree with Jason Shaw and everyone else. Thanks.
Thank you. And I'll just comment the same, that I appreciate everybody's work from 2008 to currently. That's long years of work by a lot of different people to get us to this point. And so we're not done yet, but appreciate you, Ms. Bondi, for your work as taking this on over the last couple of years, and everybody else is from the operating committees, groups, to all the work done, and all the attorneys as well. So the plan at the moment is to have a meeting at the end of April, and we think that'll still be a virtual meeting with the hope and intention that maybe in May we can go back to a live meeting. And so if you have any concerns, thoughts about that, please get with Ms. Bondi and Karen and just, voice those. And, it is the hope that we're returning to some level of normalcy. And so if there's nothing else for the board, we will stand adjourned. Good night, and thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Yeah.